YouTube, it's Brian Phillips again. It's been like 5 minutes, so I figured I needed to do another unboxing. And it looks so similar to the last 3 packages. I wonder what it is. Let's cut it open and find out, because I actually don't know what it is. And I'm kind of excited. I can tell from the garbage bag that it's packaged in that it probably comes from Maiden. What is this thing? Oh, it's a Boeing. Boeing 747. Wow, that's so cool. It looks a lot like a Boeing 747 with a Y, in case you're listening. Copyright. And then they've got the Fluanda. See this? Fluanza. And then it's okay, well, they're not gonna have those libraries. So I'm excited for this little plane. I don't know about you guys, but for being these little dinky turds that you expect to be just completely underwhelmed by, unless you go out in horrible weather, they're actually pretty awesome. And that's why I now have 3. And I'll have 5 in the next 2 weeks. I can't wait. All right, so this is the 747 made by Boeing. And it's another one you have to build.
Oh, man.
No, you don't have to build this one. This one's from WL Toys. And look at that. All I have to do, see, with 4 nacelles, that would take like 3 hours to put together for me. I mean, normal video, maybe 5 minutes. My video's 3 hours. Ooh, yeah, that's gorgeous. I like the dihedral on the wings. Looks true to scale. I really hope it's not united. Oh, dang it. It's Jesus. 747 friendship.
Sorry.
Okay, China, if you're listening, please get somebody to proofread your English. I mean, if you can make a plane that looks this gorgeous, can you not find somebody who speaks English properly? So the way this goes together is super easy. There's a screw down here. It's kind of hard to see because there's a chunk of foam on top of it. And the screw passes through this hole and it holds down the wing like this, okay? So then, I mean, they got the outline right on this thing. So we're just gonna go through the build process real quick, and then if the weather holds, we're gonna fly it for you. Interestingly enough, it's an XK control. It does say XK on the front.
It does on the box.
I remember if this was XK. I mean, WL Toys makes XK, and it makes a variety of other products. You can read this manual if you want to be frustrated by not quite getting English or Chinese. I'm sure the Chinese is the same way. There's nothing else in the package except for this box, so I'm assuming there's batteries in this box. The last time the batteries were actually like stuck in the fuse, which I don't see it stuck in the fuse. Hey, look at that. We've got a screwdriver, a very, very minuscule Phillips screwdriver, which is cool. Got some landing gear, which will be a huge disappointment and totally ruin the scale appearance of the plane. Then we got a double charger. Guys, if you're listening, manufacturers, after you get the English thing worked out, WL Toys does a great job of sending. This is a ready-to-fly plane, and they send everything. Everything except for those. Now, the cool thing is, if you've got like, say, 4 or 5 other WL Toys products, there's a good chance if you've got a 3-channel device, you can just use your other remote and it's gonna work. I like to label them and use them with the planes until I get my jumper coming pretty soon, and that's gonna be awesome. I'll show you guys how to set that up once I figure it out myself. But you get inside this bag, you get a dual charger, and in this case you get 1 battery. It looks like a 3.7 volt, which would be 1 cell, lithium polymer at 300 milliamp hour. It's got a low C connector. Of course, you've got only 1 low C connector. That's gonna be your discharge and your charge. This is 1.11 watt hours. So That should be pretty similar to what we have by standard on the WL Toy lineup. So if we compare that, to our 787, we got 300 milliamp hours, but you'll note that they are a little bit more stubby on the 787. This is a longer, skinnier pack. And then on the Airbus A380, same thing as what we see on the 747. So this is from the 380, this is from the 747. Again, 300 milliamps, just a different size pack. And then if you go to this is a 700 milliamp hour pack. I believe that was on one of the helicopters. So, and by the way, yes, to answer your questions, yes, you can use the 700 milliamp hour in most of these WL hobbies or WL Toys XK product lineup. You'll be fine. This is a 500 milliamp hour. That came with one of them. I got 2 500 milliamp hours in one of the planes or helicopters. I honestly can't remember which one it is. These will also work. I used them in the 787 and the A380, so should be no problem. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a minute, clean things up, and we will go through the assembly, which will take us about 5 minutes. This is the only thing that doesn't come with your plane. We got 4 AA batteries. This is the boring part. If you guys have seen this before, you probably don't need to see this, so just bear with me or skip forward if you prefer. I'm gonna put these in just so you can show. I've labeled this. It says 747 A150. This is an A150, which is a 747. The first decals that I take off of these planes are these hokey fake markings on the wings. The only issue is that it does get kind of hard to keep them straight because those numbers have no relevance to me in my reality. It's just what the WL Toys people thought of. Okay, so you turn it on, you make sure the light flash is okay, so we're good. Now let's talk about charging. By the way, in this bag, there's a dinky screw. You don't want to miss that, okay? Magnetically attached here, okay? So we're gonna talk about charger. This is what comes with it, okay? USB-A goes to this little drum style connector, okay? Pin here, plugs in, okay? The new battery, I labeled it 747, 300 milliamps, 1S. Let's talk about how big of a USB charger you want. You can plug this into your laptop or whatever, but just be careful. This is an old, crappy USB adapter that was used for a camera. I've gone over this a million times. I'm gonna go over it again in case this is the first time you see my videos. If you look on your output, there's an input. It shows 100 through 240 volts AC at 60 hertz, 50 to 60 hertz, with a max output of 0.2 amps. Excuse me, max input, okay? Then so that means the max load is 0.2 amps, okay? Can they see that? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Then the output is gonna be 5 volts at 1 amp, okay? Now, why is that relevant? This is a 300 milliamp hour rated pack. So in 1 hour, it's gonna consume 300 milliamps, which is equivalent to 1/3 of 1 amp, or 300 milliamps. So this is 1/3 of an amp. This is capable of generating 1 amp hours of output, okay? This will kick it down to what you need, but if you put on a 5 or 10 amp output, you're gonna fry this pack, okay? It will be bye-bye, gone, puffy, catch your house on fire, everybody dies. So be careful about that. I'm gonna show you how to do this. You plug in the USB-A, you plug it into an outlet, and then I'm gonna show you the alternative method. That's the way I usually do it. Okay, so you find yourself a regular outlet. Take my word for it, there's an outlet over here. Plug it in. These low-C connectors are pinned. There's keys, okay, so you can only put it in the right way. Slide it in, light comes on. So now this is charging. So now, because the 787, which I decided I'd bring these out, that's the A800, this is the A380, which is also known as, I think, the A120 maybe, and then this is the QF008, which is the 787. This uses the exact, the 380 uses the exact battery pack. It's narrow, it's the same size. These are the same electrically, but it's a different size pack, okay? So take my word for it, guys. So I'm gonna use this Common Sense RC charger, which is similar to the Hobby King C3. It's just the same thing, just different packaging. I'm gonna plug it in, I'll show you how this works. if you're using a balance charger like you've all got if you use RC stuff, you can make yourself, I have this balance charger, so I have an XT60 that goes out to the 2 pins, okay? So I can take my red pin and I can line it up to the low C connector, and I can take my black pin and I can line it up and slide it in here. Now you could buy a female low C connector as well, but I'm not gonna do that. So, and when I say female, I mean this actually would be the male end because it's got pins. This is the female because it has sockets, okay? I'm not gonna give you guys a full anatomy lesson, but plug that in and then you go to your LiPo setting. I usually try to do balance. If it's multiple cells, this is a single cell. And this is set to, you'll notice 0.2. You could charge it as fast as probably 0.5. Show them on the side of the pack here. This says 300 milliamp hours. So that is the setting you want to match for a 1C battery charge rate, okay? I usually try to do it in half because I can only go at 0.1 amp increments. I need to set this to 0.2. Then I set it to 2S. I'm going to take it back to 1S, and then I'm going to press start and hold it. Okay, now it's checking. Now it's started. Okay? You can see the information here. So if this was a multi-cell pack, you could use the arrow to see what it is. The reason I show you this is because you don't have to depend on the crappy free charger. But if you don't have a better charger, then you can depend on the crappy free charger. Remember, this is a 2-cell, you can do 2 at a time, which is kind of nice. But even on the A150, you can take this and do the exact same thing I just did. You can hook up your XT60 like I built, and then you can plug this into your balance charger, and you can charge this like any other pack you've got, because I don't happen to have a low C adapter. So anyway, that's how I do it. This cell's obviously charged. It's at 4.2, so I'm just going to stop it. I'll disconnect power, and then basically this thing's ready to rock and roll. To be on the safe side, when you're plugging and unplugging these things, because you've got those naked pins, I usually try to unplug this first. And then there you have it. So you can charge these on a more proper charger if you don't want to depend on this little thing. So that being said, now we can move back to where we were doing our assembly. So we've got the transmitter ready to rock. We opened the bag. We found the 1 screw. We got some spare propellers. They're labeled A3 and B1. That's because normally these would be for quads. Quads would have 4 blades, hence quad. These have 2, so I don't know. WL Toys makes a lot of stuff. Probably just use the same equipment for that. Okay, so these little servos have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wires. I don't know what they all do, but evidently there's 5 wires for some reason. Then there's a little extension cord. And you'll notice there's a black side and a brown side. See that? That doesn't go like that. The colors should mate up, and then these connectors plug together. If you break the connector, you're gonna have to strip back those leads and solder them. And you're gonna have to stagger them, like one, then the next, and the next, and the next. You're gonna have to be really careful. So don't break the lead is the key. Now, I normally have good luck by tucking this back in here, but you have to be careful you don't interfere with the elevator control, okay? So the elevator controls there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just slide this down into the bottom of the wing in this case, which is super easy. There's no moving parts down here. You just don't want to damage the components on the board. Okay, and then this battery terminal, that's the other thing. These stupid warnings. You're not supposed to do this, I'm sure, but I don't really care because it's like annoying to have the extra. Why do I want to drag this around in my plane? So I'm going to slide this back here. You see how I immediately interfered with my control surface. So I'm going to try to bring this around. It's tricky to do that step, guys. It's one of the worst steps on this build, and there isn't very much to it, you know. Okay, so now you can see that's going away from where the controls are. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. So now when I push this on, it's not going to bind up the control surface because you don't want your elevator to not function. I do notice this elevator is quite a bit larger, which is cool. One of the things that I didn't care for on these WL Toys lineup is that the elevators are sometimes insufficient. Okay, so you just drop that screw in there and tighten it. It's just a machine screw. and it just bites into the plastic. It's very simple. There's a, okay, and you can tighten that until you feel it start to squish your foam. Pop that open. While you've got the handy dandy screwdriver, go ahead and pull your lead out. And then over time, you'll actually work this so that it kind of wants to fall out. And these planes, they are really pretty. Not crazy about the black propellers though. If you are listening at the WL Toys factory in my native tongue, please, translator, what was the other thing we talked about?
Well, English labels.
English
Yes, would be
labels.
good. Mm-hmm.
And then also, let's see if we can get these to be white, because that would look awesome. Mm-hmm. It would blend into the wing better. Okay, so now landing gear, I'll show you how to put them on because our charger is still cooking over there. There's 3 landing gear, 2 for the mains on the wing. Okay, they've got this kind of goofy angle to them, okay? And then there's one that's obviously different. It's straight, you know, like this. So what you're gonna do is, if you decide you wanna put these in, you'll just slip them in like so. I'm not gonna put mine in far because I would like to probably not leave them on there. And then these ones here, looks like they go this way. That's a little bit different style than the last planes. Again, when you have kind of an uglier landing gear assembly, hey, they're easy to get in and out, very easy. Like, those things are ugly, let's just be honest, but it does facilitate wheels up, wheels down, which is pretty cool. I love that part of flying. These planes are not particularly great at it because you give it throttle and it moves the elevator. So you pretty much give it throttle and it takes off, okay? The auto leveling system makes it very easy to fly. But for people that know how to fly with the radio control, they're gonna be frustrated. So if we get it clearing for a second, we'll go out and fly this thing. And that's pretty much all you have to do. So let's go ahead and fire it up with the battery. The Airbus A380 from XK is exactly the same. So we'll just use this one since the other one's charging. Flip your plane upside down. Under normal circumstances, on every single other plane I've ever had, you turn your radio on, you make sure your throttle sticks down. This is mode 2, so this is my throttle. This is where your rudder would be, except there's no rudder, it's only 3-channel. Elevator, and then ailerons. So in this case, that creates differential thrust by varying the thrust on each motor, and then that changes the amount of lift which rolls the plane, okay? And then the control circuit in here levels it for you. Okay, so we're gonna plug this in, red to red, black to black. There is a power switch on these planes, which is a little bit weird. Okay, so you can push that in, make your loop nice and neat, and then snap the lid shut. Now, I like to start level, so I'm using my middle finger to manipulate the switch. And then we wait a second. And you'll notice nothing's happening. I can see that light flashing. And so, as usual, I have to do what I never want to do, which is to turn off my transmitter and then turn it back on, which is not a good thing to do, generally speaking. They are bound up, and the elevator's working. The differential thrust is not, because there's no throttle. There's throttle, differential thrust. Very good ground handling, like usual. Very cool, very, very cool. Lots of throw on the elevator there. Good power. I would totally fly this in here, except it will not fly in here. And you'll notice the angle that they have mounted this at points the air. It tries to point the air over the control surface a little bit. And I think that also helps to kind of lift the plane up a little bit. So we are going to see if it's clear and then maybe take a flight. I don't know if it's clear out there. It looks a little rainy.
Yeah.
Let's head out, and I think we'll try with the landing gear, and then we'll pull them out. Okay. We've got minor thunderstorms, no big deal. See, full throttle, pretty much wants to fly itself. Boy, that looks cool, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Need kind of some trim adjustment here, but and I don't know what that airline is, but it's kind of flying near a thunderstorm. It's a little dangerous. Okay, I'm gonna take it around. Let's go up by the runway. Kind of got a little bit of roll, unnecessary roll there. Okay, trade side. Oh yeah, baby. Okay, guys, we're gonna try this with no landing gear. Holy crap, there's a huge lightning over there. And guys, these things are really cool. And we're gonna try this again before we're struck by lightning. Are you ready, camera crew?
I'm ready.
That's about 50% throttle. You see it's wanting to roll on me?
Mm-hmm.
Let's fly over there. That's kind of cool. I want to see some lightning. Lightning action! Boy, it looks like it's wanting to stall. Wow, that looks cool, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Nothing like a good thunderstorm. Thunderstorm with the 747. All right, here we go. Got about 50% throttle. Just trying to... Accidental presentation pass. For those of you new into the hobby, flying these little planes is kind of like, I've likened it to giving a suggestion to your children, like, children, clean up your dishes. You're done eating, correct? And then sometimes it kind of does, and then other times you end up on the wrong side of the camera crew, like that was what just happened there. And so I'm holding full stick, and you can see it barely makes it. Now hold full stick the other way, and it like wants to fall. And then WL Toys is like, no, fall out the sky. So here we go. So this will be a glide-ish. There's some trimming issues going on here, I think is what it is. And you notice the pumping, as I want to call that. Let's go by the... Whew, I'm glad it didn't make it into the bug zapper. I mean, it does sound a little bit like a swarm of mosquitoes.
It does.
Man, what a cool cloud cover up there. Look at that. It's like a tornado up there. See that? Right behind it?
Yeah, let's not do that though.
What, a tornado?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to see a tornado in the background of this WL Toys Bang Good video?
Not by my house, no.
Well, it's not.
Whoa!
That was awesome. Let's see how many revolutions it takes to get struck by lightning. Okay, so if this thing gets struck by lightning, then I want to see how many coffee cups we get out of it. Okay, so I'm trying pressing the buttons now. Buttons don't seem to have any effect whatsoever. You guys know I'm not generally going to fly that high. Ooh. Okay, I was trying with everything I had to get it to yaw over, and it wouldn't. Completely out of the throttle now. Okay, here we go. We're going to try coming back around. You have to give it a little bit of elevator when you get serious about wanting to make a turn. You're like, get over here. Ooh, full throttle! It's pretty fun to fly, but you kind of almost have to know what you're doing to keep from crashing it constantly. That's pretty cool. See, that's like tuned in, almost perfect. Almost the... Oh, geez! Calm down, people! It reminds me of speed, you know, it's like, everybody get on this side! Everybody to the left side of the bus! I think that's what was going on in the WL United from Boeing. Oh, here it comes, guys. Everybody to the other side. I love giving it full input just to get it to turn. So, guys, if you, I know this has got to be a fluke with mine, but I got to just show you this because this is crazy. Okay, so I'm going to try to bring it back toward me. Okay, so coming toward me. Watch this. There's full authority. Whoa! So now watch this, guys. I'm going to turn the other way. Oh, it does eventually get there. Ooh, high alpha 747 action. You know what this plane screams for?
Flaps, LEDs.
Well, beyond those obvious things. No, it screams for... Whoa! World's slowest pass! Oh, it's perfect scale landing. Did you see that? Give the people at home a view of that.
I know, it's super cool.
Look over the top of the house.
I know.
I wonder if it's going to come strike down my video.
I just hope it rains.
Just in case there's never another video published because the lightning takes us both out along with this beautiful United from Boeing. Thanks for watching, guys. This thing is awesome. I am not done flying just yet. Man, that is gorgeous. As usual, extremely hypersensitive elevator. And when I say hypersensitive, I mean extremely hypersensitive where you don't want it to be. So like I said, if you could just get a little bit of expo action. Oh yeah, that's gorgeous. Man, it looks good up against the blue, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, just full disclosure, guys. It's probably not a good idea to fly in lightning storms. Typically, you want to avoid that. Or by power lines, hospitals, playgrounds,
People,
outside,
buildings,
inside,
trees.
pretty much anywhere there's a human being. Ah! I still survived. I can't believe it.
Remind me to never fly on United.
or anything made by Boeing.
Yes.
Guys, I'm seriously, you know that I know how to fly by now. And those oscillations are just some nonsensical Boeing inputs. It's almost like Boeing's autopilot. Like, oh no, geez, I just barely made it. I shouldn't say things like that because the Boeing stock might go down.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, here we go. Oh yes, gorgeous. Hey, I gotta say, guys, this little thing. Okay, so after you've, we're in the low voltage. Of course, get over here. Get over here. That's low voltage warning. Okay, guys, for reals. Oh! Scrape myself.
That's okay. You
So,
didn't look completely.
you got to experience the low voltage warning, and it's kind of like this. Flying along. Okay, I'm out of power, and now I'm landing. It's just like the Boeing autopilot. So, in conclusion, this thing is actually pretty awesome, as is the cloud cover right now. And so, while I'm not being struck by lightning, I might actually try to get another one in. Let's try it with a bigger battery, and then we'll give you guys, you can make up your own mind.
Okay.
So we're gonna go straight to the big dogs, guys. This is a 3.7 volts, means it's 1S still, and it's 700 milliamp hours. So it's 2.5-ish times what we just used. And it's gonna fly a little bit different, but one thing I wanted to show you, this is the transmitter. This is the one for the 747. I'm gonna shut it off. This is the one from the A380. We're gonna turn it on, okay? And then I'm gonna plug this in. So it's plugged in. Now I just need to ram it into that tight spot. Get in there. There it is. Yes, it fits right in. This is a good fit. Okay, so we got that battery in there. So again, that's 700. It comes with a 300. Okay, so 300 times 2 would be 600. So it's not 2.5 times.
No.
But you can do the math on your calculator. Just ask Google. Google, what is 300 times 2? What is 700 divided by 300? Okay, it's in there, which is barely. Okay, so the power switch is currently on. Because I turned this on first, it didn't go through the binding process, so I'm gonna shut this off. I'm gonna have this like this, I'm gonna turn it on, and it's gonna be awesome. You can see the flashy lights underneath. Oh wow, it's so exciting. Elevator. All right, let's go fly before we get rained out. Okay.
Okay.
We want you guys to get the full experience. The full experience. Come out with us. Oh yeah, baby! Oh yeah, this thing is actually flying gorgeously with the bigger pack. Oh, I like it. It's way better. It's like more subdued, more big flying. What do you think, hon?
Yeah, it looks way better.
It's like a night and day difference.
It's not nearly as like wonky looking.
It's not near as wonky. I wonder if Boeing gave me a bad radio, because this is the one from the 380.
Oh.
This one's just more subdued feeling. What, were you afraid that this Boeing was going to run into your beautiful house? I was also. Okay, guys, so the way that it's flying, how it's wanting to always constantly roll is kind of annoying. And yet, gosh, look at the lines on that thing. Gorgeous. There's a dog in the back of that truck. Waved its tail at us. It said, that Boeing looks awesome. Here we go. Whoa! Whoa! Our children are probably thinking, uh-oh. Our parents are going to be struck by lightning. You see what it's doing though, hon? What? See how it's wanting to yaw to the left all the time? Well, that's not me. Yeah. It's not just awesome piloting by your wonderful husband.
Oh.
That's not it at all. Okay, so I'm gonna have to give it some elevator to also pull through that turn, and then I'm gonna try to land it right at our toes. Oh, that is nice. Oh, yes! It feels like it's gonna rain, guys, but I so badly wanna fix this. Okay, so if it's yawing this way, then that means that maybe we have an asymmetry on this control surface. It could also be an asymmetry in the motor, which is drawing it too much this way. Since there's no trim on here this way, I can't really fix that, but I could try to kind of take some of it out. And what that is going to do is, as we're flying straight, I want it to roll a little bit more this way, which means I need to bring this up or I need to bring that down. So let's go do it while it's raining. Yeah. Okay, so you see there's a frog here, guys?
He landed on the house.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this airplane. See this, guys? So remember, we're rolling this way without giving it input. So because there's no easy trim, I'm going to actually bring, if we're rolling this way, I'm going to bring this one down a little bit or this one up a little bit. So I'll probably do a little bit of each. So note that we're in the middle hole, hon.
Okay.
Pull this little collar back and then pop this little thing off, just like this. Okay? Now, I want this one to go out. There's 1, 2 halves, makes 1. There's 2 turns. Okay, so we'll see if 2 turns is enough. And on a little plane like this with sort of mediocre control authority, it's always better to give it a little bit too much elevator, in my opinion. You don't want it to go like that into the ground. Okay, now this one we're gonna bring it in. Okay, so you have to slide this little collar. It's probably hard to see on the video. Then we're gonna pop this off, just like that. Then we're gonna roll this in. There's 1, and there's 2. So that should attempt, just in and of itself, to roll the craft this way, okay? The elevator, or excuse me, the vertical stabilizer looks square. I don't think that's our problem on this plane, because if you had a yaw effect from the rudder, which would be from the vertical stabilizer being out of alignment with the body, that could also cause the exact same effect, okay? So now if you look at you see the horizontal stab? Now look at the elevator. They're not correct. That is wrong, okay? So now when I throw this and fly it, it's gonna hopefully fly straight and true, like an arrow. Except that it's raining. It's raining, guys.
I don't know if they can see the rain.
I don't know if you can see the rain.
But it is raining.
It is raining. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pause it and come back when it stops raining next week. Okay, so in my dejected state because of the rain, I'm gonna show you guys how to get rid of that really, really ugly A150. Take your seat, take your packing tape, stick it down, just like this. And that will, it will usually take off the whole thing, but it didn't take off the whole thing this time. So you just take and stick it down again. See, it's taking it off slowly, but surely. And just kind of keep working it until you get all that stuff off. And then I'm just gonna refresh to a new piece of tape. I think my tape was kind of crappy on that one. So just rub it down there, give it a nice rub down. Peel it off. So that's all you got to do, guys, and that'll take that big ugly logo off of there. Thing I was really happy with on this plane, beyond actually just flight characteristics are pretty decent. The elevator's still hokey, which is unfortunate, but just kind of a reality of the cheap electronics. But when it comes down to it, this plane is a pretty awesome value. So, I hope I can remember what number this is. I think I marked it on the transmitter.
Did you?
I did. Oh, here we go, guys. So you almost got it. And then one thing I liked about the molding on this wing is that the dihedral was pretty much right. So on the Airbus A380, also known as the XK120, okay, the A120, I had to put in that pre-stressed look on the wings. Because on the Airbus A380, it has this goal, and then it flattens out to a dihedral in flight. This plane, the 747, doesn't necessarily have as much of that goal look to it when it's on the ground or when it's flying. And if this still wants to give you trouble coming off of there, I think you can wet that stuff with water, and it should come off of there. So looks like it's still going. We could just fly in the rain, see if the labels come off that way. So as you can see, now that that's got a little bit of moisture to it, I believe that should come right off of there, because I believe these are wet decals. Well, the last time I tried to work on decals on an XK product, it was an epic fail. So looks like we might be calming down here, so we will come right back to you. Okay, so we didn't quite get the label off because we got a clearing, so we're gonna try to do this. Remember, we were trying to roll it over. That's with input, guys. Man, it looks pretty stinking good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's just a little bit, 30% input to the left. Still has a propensity to the left. I don't think we got enough, but it doesn't feel like it's rolling quite as bad. Still takes a little longer to get going that direction, and part of that is, you know, you've got some torque induced from those motors, but being that they should be counter-rotating. Our 700 milliamp pack. Boy, that thing looks a lot better with the 700 milliamp.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it to sort of flatten out. Okay, coming by. We'll slow it down a little bit here. Boy, it looks good. Okay, that's full right, and then digging down into the elevator to get it to complete the turn. Had to give it a little throttle to make it over the top of the truck. That's full left, obviously is a little quicker. Just under full left. Man, that looks good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's full left. No elevator to help convince it. So what I mean is, like, that's full right, that's full left. It's a lot faster. There's full throttle. Don't be afraid to pull up on the elevator. Jeez, look at that rain over there. That looks so cool. You see that, guys? Look at the rain, this big giant dump of rain over there. Okay, we're coming around out of the throttle, just giving it a little bit so the differential thrust works. As soon as I let off, it wants to go back to the left. Got to be a controller thing.
Are you back to the other controller?
No, this is still using this is a 380 controller. It's the same on both. I think part of it is there's some sort of an issue with the auto leveling. Let's just watch this. Gosh, that looks so gorgeous coming at us, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. I want to go out under the power lines just to prove to the people that it can be done. So we're past the power lines. Coming back around, watching out for trees.
Didn't get struck by lightning.
Not yet. Going between the camera crew and the truck. It is pretty calm right now.
It is.
Oh, gorgeous. Have you gotten any zooming with the green background there?
No. I can try.
Let's try it. We'll come around here. Okay, here we go. Next to the bug zapper. Okay, let's try over here. Okay, here we go. This is a Galaxy S9. Galaxy S9. Did I say X9?
No, I think you said S9.
So gorgeous, flying in the thunderstorm like this. Jeez. Thank you, XK, for a good plane. I mean, really, this is pretty good. I mean, I just want to keep flying it. Normally my hour-long videos is because I've been blabbing them for like an hour. This one's going to be an hour long because I'm flying for an hour. Okay, here we go. High speed pass, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
That's full speed. As soon as I let off, it wants to roll, which is not cool. Okay, so let's try to loop it. Is it going to work? That's the limit to the bank angle. That's the limit to the downward bank angle. Kind of hard to see without a horizon. We'll try to catch the horizon for the people at home that don't understand what I'm talking about. There's a limit to your angles that you can bank this plane. There's full up, there's full down. Full up, full down. And it's fairly responsive. But then the roll, you kind of have free reign. You getting sick of it yet, camera crew?
Haven't got a mosquito bite yet.
Are you sick of it yet?
If you crash into me, I might be. Again.
Again?
Oh my gosh.
That was so not called for. Okay, here we go. We're going to try to chop the throttle and see if we can get a nice smooth landing here. That's as smooth as it gets without landing gear, really, if you think about it. So, final thoughts. Wow, your hair is standing up on end. For real.
That is really scary.
So maybe we should
go inside
before we get killed. Get on Banggood, order one. Thanks for watching, guys. Come back for more.